Alright, folks, so we've got some breaking news here. I had to break this to you as soon as possible. There's complete chaos going on right now in the Bernie Warren mashup right now that is happening. So, all of the news outlets today have ran with this headline. Bernie Sanders told Elizabeth Warren in private 2018 meeting that a woman can't win, sources say. Now, this is a disgusting article in the beginning, and all of them are running with this because it's simply not true. But they're running with this anyways. So, this one's from CNN. Now, there's sources, none of them actually, directly from the campaign, unnamed anonymous sources, all right, in a conversation between Warren and Bernie, so that a private meeting, so that would mean that it would have to be Warren telling them something if that's what it is, okay? And so Bernie Sanders responded to the CNN article by saying, "It is ludicrous to believe that at the same meeting where Elizabeth Warren told me she was going to run for president, I would tell her that a woman couldn't win. It's sad that 3 weeks before the Iowa caucus and a year after that private conversation, staff who weren't in the room are lying about what happened. What I did say that night was that Donald Trump is a sexist, a racist, and a liar who would weaponize everything he could. Do I believe a woman can win in 2020? Of course. After all, Hillary Clinton beat Donald Trump by 3 million votes in 2016. Now, funny enough, Warren's communications director declined to comment, of course. So it's a private meeting. There was nobody there, so these people are making their own stuff up, or Warren told them stuff. So Warren's got two options here. Either confirm what the people of these sources have been saying, or you say, no, this is bogus. And to me, if this story is going around and you don't come out and debunk it, you're complicit in the smear at that point, okay, 100%. Now, what's crazy is she put out a statement where she affirms what the sources are saying. So she says, Bernie and I met for more than 2 hours in December 2018 to discuss the 2020 election, our past work together and our shared goals, beating Donald Trump, taking back our government from the wealthy and well-connected, and building an economy that works for everyone. Among the topics that came up was what would happen if Democrats nominated a female candidate. I thought a woman could win. He disagreed. I have no interest in discussing this private meeting any further because Bernie and I have far more in common than our differences on punditry. I'm in this race to talk about what's broken in this country and how to fix it, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. I know Bernie is in the race for the same reason. We have been friends and allies in this fight for a long time, and I have no doubt we will continue to work together to defeat Donald Trump and put our government on the side of the people. No. You don't get to do this. You don't get to go out there, okay, and pick this fight with Bernie Sanders over a bullshit lie, which was that this was a campaign document, which stated a fact about your campaign, by the way, and it was not offensive at all, and we're in a fucking primary, so in a primary, you're trying to take down the other candidates to win. That's how you win, okay? So it was a fact anyways, but it wasn't even an official campaign source, so that was made up. It was removed immediately because they have very strict guidelines as to what they can do in terms of no negativity in the volunteer forms, okay, and the response to those questions. So she made it up completely. She picks this fight, and then, her sources, her bogus sources, come out and say that he claimed that he said that a woman couldn't win, which is insane. There's video upon video from literally the 80s of him talking about how he wants more women to run. He was encouraging, little girls to run when they get older, essentially. He also, by the way, he campaigned for Hillary Clinton, A, but B, there were literal reports that he was pressuring Elizabeth Warren to run for president back in 2016, okay? So, this is hilariously stupid, okay? It's totally made up. And the fact that she came out to literally endorse and affirm the smear, this is permanently scarring. It is unacceptable. This is a horrible smidge on her record. The fact that she would stoop so low as to call Bernie Sanders a fucking sexist, which is the implication of this, okay, and him saying that a woman can't win, the implication is that he's a sexist and all this, so you come out and smear him because your campaign is flailing, because Elizabeth Warren's campaign is flailing. She's below 15 nationally. Bernie is over 20 points. Okay, she's not doing so great in Nevada either, and her fundraising is lagging, and the energy is lacking / is non-existent at this point. So the fact that you would pull this kind of bullcrap is disgusting. I did not know Warren was like this, although I should have known Warren was like this. Warren was a Republican into her 40s. All right. She's a Republican into her 40s. She lied about being Native American for decades upon decades. Okay, there's like a little Harvard form where she claims she was Native American. So this is absolute insanity. Now, here what we have is Faiz Shakir, who is his campaign manager. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, our response is that it is a lie. You have 4 anonymous sources, as I read in the CNN, none of whom went on record. I don't believe Elizabeth Warren has commented on it or said it directly. It is because it is a lie. Bernie Sanders has always fought and stood for women and women's rights. You go back to 1988 when he was urging women to run for president and believe that a woman could be and would be president of the United States. You go back to 2015 when he was urging none other than Elizabeth Warren herself to run for president. Now you have 3 weeks before the Iowa caucus, you have some anonymous sources out there who want to throw bombs and suggest that Bernie Sanders is someone he isn't. Get it. It's politics. This isn't beanbag. People want to come at us. Everyone's coming at us right now. Come at us. That's fine. But don't spread lies about Bernie Sanders. We know who he is.
So that is his campaign manager, Faiz Shakir. Now, Sean King sent out this tweet. I don't know how seriously to take this. He says, wow, just spoke to a source who told me that Elizabeth Warren admittedly, quote, embellished the words of Bernie Sanders to her friends after her meeting with him in 2018, saying that Bernie said a woman couldn't win, but that he never actually said those words. Disgusting. Also, I reconfirmed with every outlet saying they, quote, confirmed that their story that Bernie Sanders said a woman couldn't become president, that not a single one of them spoke to Warren. One journalist said Warren was going around telling friends, embellishing new details every time. Now, so he's saying he just spoke to a source, so it sounds legit, but to the same way that this BS story is based on these 4, anonymous sources, okay? I can't really take this 100% seriously either. Even though it sounds legitimate, it would make sense. But regardless, if there's no real, source or journalist that he can really cite, then, I can't really take it all that seriously anyways, to be honest with you. But it was a private meeting, meaning that either Warren told people about this or they just completely made it up. One of the two. The more likely scenario is Warren did tell those sources that lie. That is likely. I do think that she lied about him and embellished his words because Warren is slimy like that, apparently. But I really can't believe that she would do this. And hear her saying that, her saying that I have no interest in discussing this private meeting any further. And then saying like, oh no, we don't have that many differences. We actually have mostly similarities. As you just smeared Bernie Sanders as a sexist is unacceptable. It shows, and I've known that Elizabeth Warren has been a coward for a long time, and I've been saying this for the longest time. She came out, remember when she said that the DNC rigged the election, the primary 2016? She flipped, I think, like literally a day later. She does this like weird flip-flop garbage all the time. Okay, she did this for Medicare for All recently, obviously. She is a coward. Okay, Elizabeth Warren is a coward, but I didn't know, and I guess I should have known this, but I didn't know she was this much of a liar. Okay, I didn't know she would make up a sexist smear about, who was her friend. She never talked about this until this day. They were presumably still friends up until this point, although who knows at this point. You would know about this quote, but not let it come out until now. That doesn't make sense, especially a day before. Now it's a day before the debate. At this point, what I'm curious about is whether or not the relations between Bernie and Warren are just completely, thrown out at this point. Because this is a really strong thing to say about somebody, and it's a really disgusting lie to make. And, people like Cenk Uygur and everyone else. And I thought Bernie Warren would be the best ticket, honestly. But at this point, considering all the stuff that has transpired at this point, and I'm sure there's probably going to be more breaking info, but this full statement from Elizabeth Warren is pretty darn telling. But I believe that a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters have if not completely lost all credibility for and trust in Elizabeth Warren, have certainly lost a good amount of it. I have certainly lost a good amount of Elizabeth Warren, credibility for Elizabeth Warren and my trust in Elizabeth Warren, even though there wasn't, that much there, but it was enough to where I wanted her as vice president and she was my second choice for president. But this is permanently scarring and unbelievable that Elizabeth Warren would pull this.